Couple-time UK Great Prix victor David Coulthard swapped the top-powered Planet of Equation 1 for a new carrier way 10 years back, but he is yet setting the skills how race learned him to nice use present. With suspended up his race gloves in 2008, the 47-year-old Scots has cut out ventures in the worlds of radio and industry, consisting TV manufacture, in property and occasion control, amongst other. I yet feature at my top while down there is blood pressure to execute, he says, relating to the demands of possessing to do key judgments, but the period in the meeting room quite rather than time flyer about a racing path. Possessing lived my lifetime at 200 miles in time, I'm utilized to manufacturing decisions at top rate and thought rapidly on my feet. How has been a actual property to me in industry. Coulthard took portion in 247 races, winner 13 of them and finish on the Dais on 62 occasions. In 2001 he was begun up in the Planet Drivers League time drive for McLaren. He as well heard for the Williams and Red Ox F1 teams, in a career that began while he was taking into account a drive chair at Williams following the die of Ayrton Senna in 1994. The Scots has spelled a volume named The Winner Equation, looking at topics such as collaboration, motive and management, and how the strategies required to be a victor in the Planet of Equation 1 can be attached to industry and lifetime in general. I discover it enchanting how lot I scientific in F1 and did not understand he says of a carrier how driven him in a big and various team of inspiring engine race leaders. They turned on threefold Planet defend Jackie Stewart, Frank Williams at Williams, Ron Dennis at McLaren, and Dietrich Mateschitz at Red Ox, every of them in really various personalities. This too how I consumable more than period in were Jackie Stewart and Ron Dennis, Coulthard says. Jackie was a actual race myth. While I was a youthful motorist he guessed me to exceed his own gender Stewart race crew. The was up they raced in F1. He was one of my influences. I scientific so lot of him, not just on race, but as well on lifetime and industry. I scientific on the significance of representation, dress correctly, creature accurate, and earning power and attention to all you make. He adds, Ron Dennis overridden mechanical engineering in F1 in his top focus to part. How part turned on non-engineering things too much, such as different rules, such as no hands in pockets, no drinks on job tables. This oneself in a specific path. Later you had Frank Williams, who constructed his industry up of anything. He came up the difficult path, later had some challenges following his collapse, how leftward him tetraplegic, that he overcame and is yet a gigantic of the kind of sports. He says how all these success individuals had a top job ethical. Whenever they came up versus the obstacle of a issue, they tested to discover solutions, they would not soften before they found a decision, says Coulthard, who took portion in his at first Equation 1 racing in 1994, and stored race at the highest standard before 2008. They were all courageous individuals who were not frightened to do courageous decisions. He says how as difficult job, focus to part, and powerful judgment manufacturing, some characteristics how industry and kind of sports stake are obligation, collaboration and incapacity to encounter deadlines. Down there are a lot of similar elements among kind of sports and industry. And in both of if you do so human beings will award you for he says. I wasn't the big F1 motorist, I never won the Planet League, and just won 13 races, but I ever gave my top. If you ever offer yours top later human beings will aware how they can trust on thou. Coulthard humbly forgets to refer how as creature a league begun up in 2001, he was as well tertiary placed motorist 3 times, and was portion of 2 constructors league winning teams. Following lack to full his recent racing in Brazil in 2008 next an occurrence in the Discovery Lap, a sorrowful late he says, he went direct in a new carrier in the print. My dad had in fact mentioned my position racing carrier in my teenager, up my race carrier had begun, he says. We were observer James Search commentating in Murray Goer, and he told how departure in TV would do a nice position racing carrier for me. He adds, I include ever had plans, and looked front for my taking into account part at any period. A lot of human beings in industry and kind of sports can abruptly discover themselves replaced or pensioned or pay away, and can't know why it should occur to them. Yet you include to believe front, and ever do oneself capable. Though if you include to provisionally lower in procedure to see wherever you can fit to. As so as speed expertise, a mark expertise agent how helping to supply F1's Dwell London occasion in 2017, his industry interests involve Whispering Films. It is a TV manufacture business specializing in top-end stigmatized substance, document films and sport productions, consisting making the F1 scope for Canal 4, and as well work on NFL soccer, female soccer and rugby football, and the Winter Paralympics in Pyeongchang. Whispering Films is thing I am especially proud of, since it was an region I was not especially skilled in while the enterprise begun, Coulthard says. Whatever to do in motor racing is secure land for me, but while we begun Whispering Films it was not so precise which the skill sets necessary would be. I put my cash wherever my jaw was, and we include grown up year on year. The is the recent year of Canal 4 scope of F1, and as the end of the head gets nearer, I will each say I include quite on my platter, or more than rather than potential I will put my attention in thing else. I am fair, not certainly yet which it might be. I couldn't foresee fully how my evolutionary would be above the history 10-year, and I can't anticipate it for the upcoming 10-year time. It is yet a act in advance.